I know this is a bit morbid, but I had to revisit this story. I had to revisit this story to just heighten awareness that some sick people live amongst us, and sometimes they are closer than we really think. Listen, welcome to SouFLoTV again, everybody. It's your host with the most. We're going to go way into details with this one, so pay attention, and the video will not be too long, okay? So, the headline for this one, there was a sister, you know, blood sister, same mother, same father. The girl bust her little brother throat, you know. And here what? She do it with her boyfriend. Now y'all might be wondering, why did he have to say that in patois? Why didn't he just say it in plain English? I have my reasons why. But anyways, keep on listening. So, Manchester man who detailed 4 police investigators how with assistance from his girlfriend, he used a knife to cut the throat of her 11-year-old brother. Twice. And he was convicted of murder himself. According to an article from the Jamaica Gleaner, 28-year-old Coyote Garwood was found guilty in Manchester Circuit Court after a 7-member jury returned a unanimous verdict, and he is actually scheduled to be sentenced, and I'm sure he has been sentenced since. His girlfriend is Denisha Gregory, 25 years old, and she was sentenced in 2014 to 4 years in prison after she pled guilty to manslaughter for her role in this story that we're about to talk about. Now, this story can go all kinds of ways because, first of all, I'm going to say this. There's no way in hell in the United States of America, Canada, or England, or any of these places that you're going to take part so closely in this heinous crime and get 4 years. But that's one of the things that I have an issue with in Jamaica, is that people do crazy things and they get a slap on the wrist and they get out of prison in time young enough to repeat offend and do it again multiple times before they're ever caught again, if they are ever caught at all again. So, among the evidence presented during the trial was a caution statement Garwood gave police investigators. Garwood, walk with me, Garwood is the boyfriend of the 25-year-old girl. Signed this statement also in the presence of 2 justices of the peace, in which he detailed in writing how 11-year-old Tariq Gregory screamed and fought for his life, even biting one of his sister's fingers at one point, to the point where he probably almost like a bite off the finger. So defense, and we're going to tell you how he got the finger to bite and all this. Listen, defense lawyers, they tried to have the statement excluded in court, arguing that Garwood did not have his attorneys present when he spoke to the detectives or when he did this writing. Prosecutors Andrea Smith-Swaby and Steve Walters argued, however, that the statement was given voluntarily and in the presence of 2 justices of the peace. So they were arguing, should we take this to court or not? That's why, boy, I mean, I know them say, woe be unto you lawyers and doctors. And I'll explain to you why. Because to make good money as a lawyer, you have to defend the guilty, knowing that they're guilty, and find a way to make them look innocent. What a profession. And then, woe be unto you doctors, is doctors. A lot of these doctors actually know the cure, but they won't give up the cure. They'll use it for their own family members and themselves, but that's about it. Everybody else, they will just string you along because treatment is more expensive and it can afford the yacht, you know, the private school for their kids, the mansion, the expensive vacations, and all these things. But if they give you the cure, they'll never see you again and they can't make no money. So, it's woe be unto you lawyers and doctors. Anyway, prosecutor Andrea Martin Swaby and Steve Walters argued that the statement was given voluntarily and should be admitted in court because it was given, although his lawyer wasn't there, it was given in the presence of 2 justices of the peace. So, Justice Chester Stamp, who presided over the trial, agreed with prosecutors that it would be admitted in court. So here's the plan now. Prosecutors led evidence that Gregory and Garwood, the boyfriend and girlfriend, 25 and 28-year-old, hatched a plan to kill her mother and her father and her brother because her mother did not approve of her relationship with the 28-year-old. And the 11-year-old comes into it now because he was their favorite child. Now, you're 25 years old. Move out and go upon your own. What you need approval from your mom for and your dad for who you date. And you know, Jamaican parents stay already. No one is probably ever too good for you, especially if you're a good child. So, so because our parents never approve of her relationship with this 28-year-old, and now we can see why. Because he was dumb enough to actually sit in on a plan and partake of a plan like this. Here goes the story. Garwood, in his caution statement, recounted how he and his girlfriend let themselves into their parents' home and waited for them to return. He said, "She went into the mother's bedroom and she lay on the bed. I turned off the television and I laid down beside her. She turned to me and she said, 'We will be living here very soon.'" So this idiot really thought she was going to just kill her parents and her sibling, and then they were going to have the house all to themselves. Soon after, Garwood said that Tariq, affectionately known as Riki, which is the 11-year-old, he arrived at the house. He said Danisha, which is his sister, who is 25 years old, sent her sibling into their father's room for a suitcase. But I was in the room already, and I was waiting for Riki to come inside. I walked from behind the door, and I held him, and he screamed. I tried to hold his mouth, but I wasn't able to. Danisha, she came into the room, she came around, and she put her hand into his mouth to try to stop him from screaming, and he bit her finger. He bite down on her finger. That's when Garwood said he held the boy's throat and squeezed it until he blocked out, passed out. When he blocked out, I took up the knife and I cut his throat. When he woke up, I heard him barely breathing, making gurgly sounds. Throat cut. Danisha came to me again and she said, "He's not dead as yet, you know." She then gave me a bat and she told me to hit him with it. I hit him twice in the head with it. Afterwards, Danisha said he wasn't dead still. I then cut his throat again and hit him in the head again with the baton. Gosh. She came around with a plastic bag and she told me to place it over his head. He would die quicker, she said. When placing the bag over his head, now mind you, this little kid has been stabbed, has been his throat cut twice to make sure it's done properly, beaten in his head with a bat, and still has strength to fight. So his sister came around with a plastic bag and told her boyfriend to place it over his head. This will make him dead quicker. When placing the bag over his head and tightening it, he held up his hand and tore open the plastic bag from his face in an effort to breathe. I asked her, "Are you stupid? I told you to hold his hand." I then took out the knife and stabbed him twice again on the left side. The 11-year-old then eventually died. And then the two of us left the house before Danisha's parents came home. People, you gotta understand the callousness of this. This woman is 25 years old, right? But her brother is 11. And they both have the same mom and same dad. So it's not like it's a stepchild where there's an age difference, and she came into the family, met him when he was grown, so they're not close, and she can disassociate herself and mentally and look at him as just another person standing in the way of what she's trying to achieve. This is her blood brother. Same mother, same father. Not stepchild, not half sibling, full blood brother. And she was able to do all this to him. And she had the nerve. She must be slow, mentally challenged, because she had the nerve, right? According to her boyfriend, as they were laying there, they were actually lay-waiting her mom and her dad, her parents, because that's who they wanted. But since Ricky came home, they just dealt with Ricky, right? And she had the nerve to look upon her man and say, we are going to be living here soon. As if she was going to do all that and it was just going to go away and she was going to end up with the house. There's some crazy, sick people among us, people. Heighten awareness, please. The story is old, but the lesson in this story, blood does not mean blood, if you understand what I mean. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Tell me what you think about this one. It's SouFLoTV. Watch who you're there around. And watch who you keep around you. I'm out. Peace.